starting out the morning on that. Got a little exercise there. Oh, I think the top of my head got cut off. So in about 10 minutes here, I'm going to share with you my background that led me to real estate. This is my fourth and final career in my life, but I've been a realtor for 11 years now, but I want to give you a little background. Jeff and I got married a little differently than probably some of you in the room. I was 38, he was 40, our first adult marriage. You can figure that out later. And my biological clock wasn't ticking, it had exploded. So both of our children are adopted. Audrey was in foster care. She was 2 months old. And Charles, our son, who's 26 now, y'all can do the math later. He is out of the Navy. We were there at his delivery. And of course, the best thing of parenting is grandparents. Thank you, Lord, for that blessing. So we have now Jackson Jeffrey Muller, who will be 3 in August. And that really was one of our motivators to move here to the Highlands, because I figured I would be a destination because my kids live over towards Georgetown. So what with the water park and all the amenities we have, they would kind of come and stay. So that was my plot, as well as the fact that I knew of all the areas in real estate that we would be able to have appreciation and growth that would be in the Highlands. And it certainly is true about this neighborhood that you're in. So a little bit of my background. I started life in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the day after I graduated from high school, I started as a teller at a savings and loan. If you don't know what a savings and loan is, Google it after breakfast. But I was a teller. And then in 1974, that was Congress passed ERISA, which basically allowed us all to have these IRAs and Qs and retirement plans that we all know about. Corey can tell you about those later if you don't know. And my manager handed me the manual and said, figure this out. So I was blessed with being able to interpret it in English. So I became the resident retirement specialist. So when I moved to Houston in 1978, you'll have to buy me a drink later why I moved to Houston. I was a specialist in that, and more the market here was more for specialists and generals. So it really gave me an edge to be that retirement specialist. I worked at Gibraltar Savings, who was the largest savings and loan in Texas at the time, before everybody's demise in the savings and loan industry in the 80s. And so I went statewide. And then Gibraltar went into the investment business, and my team led the charge on that. So by the time I was 30, I had my securities license, my insurance license, and was this retirement specialist. And then we saw the handwriting on the wall with the savings and loan industry. So I took my licenses and became Rose Financial Group and became independent. So I've been self-employed, entrepreneur, solar, whatever that new word was you came up with, since I was in my 30s. And never looked back. Definitely have enjoyed that ride. When I started Rose Financial Group, I was in Leadership Houston Class 6. I think they're on 450 now. And that was in 1988, so it kind of tells you what time frame. So it was a great transition. And what that really brought me is to getting involved in the community through chambers. I've now obviously done 5 different leadership programs. What a wonderful way to be able to learn about your community and give back. So I would encourage you, if you haven't been a part of the Pathway to Leadership for East Montgomery County, to take advantage of that. I think it also gives me an advantage as a realtor, and that's why I'm showing you my background, is that I know the community, I know the area, so it has helped dramatically and has always been my marketing. While doing that, I became president of the Federation of Houston Professional Women. I don't know, has anybody ever heard of that organization in here? It's the umbrella group for all the women organizations in the greater Houston area. At the time in the 80s, networking was the only way we were surviving the crisis that was going on with the oil. And so anyway, learned a lot, grew a lot. It was awesome. And then from there, some of us started the Women's Resources, which is a nonprofit. I think they just celebrated their 40th anniversary, a 501c3 that helps women become financially independent. So that's kind of a little bit of my background, what I've done community-wise. In 2000, Jeff and I moved to Magnolia for various reasons, just want to be different place for our children. And through that time, during that time, I sold my financial planning practice, had enough fun, sold it in about 2010. And I was going to kind of kick back and just enjoy all the things I was doing in the community. But the new city manager talked me into becoming his first economic development coordinator for the city of Magnolia. I created their first comprehensive plan. And I'm sharing that with you just because, again, between that and I was served on the school board in Magnolia for 9 years, it gives me that insight with regard to school business, county business, municipality. Also, certainly I learned the art of negotiation working for the city of Magnolia. So all those skills and traits kind of come together to help me be the best realtor for you, because you probably have about 3 dozen realtors in your contacts. So I want to be able to show how I maybe stand out and what Rose does. So getting into real estate, this is a slide I used last quarter when I did the presentation for Leadership Lake Houston on their economic development. And it's one that we always love to see for Houston Metro, but it's kind of interesting. Can y'all see that okay in the back? So 10 years ago, we led the pack. Over 60% of our marketplace could afford a house in our area. And look where we are today. We're pretty neck to neck with the US, and less than 40% of our residents can afford a house. And this is what 40% looks like. That's a house payment of $340,000 plus. That means a household income at today's interest rate of almost $95,000. So for those of us that have been around a few decades, that's kind of sticker shock compared to maybe what our first house cost, right? Our car probably costs more today than our first house did. So those are kind of the numbers that we're living with. So when you see what's going on in real estate, I share this with you. Yes, it's about interest rates, but we have had a 30% increase in home prices since COVID. I do the numbers because of my background for community impact. So I'm always aware of where we're going with this. And so that number really plays a part because less people can afford to buy a house. This is how it breaks down for the county. So I share this with you just so we have some bragging rights. As Mark always likes to mention to us about how great things are in New Caney, the Porter area, Montgomery County. We're not at 40%, it's 47% affordability. And that stayed very consistent for 23 and 24. 25 numbers will be out for the first quarter next month. So we're in a good, sweet place. And this is everybody's favorite slide in this room. And that is for the 10 hottest communities as of the end of last year. According to the Houston Association of Realtors, we're ranked number 6. I think we may come out a little higher when the next numbers come out for Porter and New Caney. And as real estate, I do Hockley, Conroe, Porter, of course, Tomball, and 1960. So I can tell you, compared to the other markets that I serve in, you can definitely tell a difference. But what's driving these markets is new construction. So these are some numbers I just put together from Community Impact, because right now I'm doing their East Montgomery section as well as the Lake Houston. So in the zip code we're in right now, which is 6.5 for the Highlands, you can kind of see we're down a little bit for the first quarter, but not by much, and that's mainly just because of where the new home starts were. Price point has gone up, as you can tell, and again, what's leading that is the Highlands and all the new section that they're opened up, and Riverwalk, I will tell you, but only about 45% of this zip code is new construction. You take 5.7, which Tavola probably is leading the pack in that one, it's that area. 85% of that zip code is new construction, but look at the price point, and that's again what keeps us up in the numbers in Montgomery County is more affordable housing. At $265, people can afford a house a little bit more than at $350. And again, with new construction, you've got those attractive interest rates that the builders are doing. Okay. So I threw this in just so that you know this is truly a buyer's market. We are up for the first quarter of 25 in listings and active, but look at this, the price is still up. Those of you sitting on the fence because you think prices are going to drop, I'm just sharing with you, numbers don't lie. We just have to figure out what they're trying to tell us, right? that prices are staying strong. And then this was my very bad homemade slide, just of why I changed over to EXP instead of being independent. With this changing market, 60% of our homeowners have interest rates less than 4%. 40% of our homeowners can even afford to buy in the marketplace. I knew I needed some new resources, and EXP and their luxury division and other resources has been the key. The loan assumption is one of those tools that I'm using. I'm now certified in loan assumptions because you can assume an FHA and VA. You do not have to be a veteran to assume a VA loan. And when if you have your house sold and they assume the loan, you do not stay on that loan like some people think. That has changed years ago. So if that's something of interest, I don't have time to go into the numbers, but it's very attractive to be able to assume a 1%, 2%, or 3% home. So Deborah Rose, Real Estate, powered by EXP. I'm here to serve you, representing Montgomery County and the Lake Houston area. Have a wonderful, blessed Easter week. That's